celebrating our unique strengths and differences from the Young Persons Network, The Source, and Suffolk County Council. What are the first 5 words that come to mind when you hear the term neurodiversity? These are the words that come to mind when we think about neurodiversity. Different, frustrated, mentally exhausting, tiring, misunderstood, we're funny, confusing, ups and downs, a roller coaster of emotions, spontaneous, interesting, overwhelming, distressing. What is neurodiversity? Have you noticed that some of us think, learn, and process information differently? Neurodiversity is based on the idea that everyone has a differently wired brain and their own unique way of thinking and experiencing the world. Neurodiversity is about recognizing that everyone's brain works differently. Respecting differences. Neurodiversity is about recognizing and respecting that we don't all learn in the same ways. Differences in the way our brains are wired means that we may find some things challenging that others find easy. We may also find things easy that other people find challenging. Sadly, neurodiverse students are often misunderstood. We each have our own strengths and challenges. Do these differences have a name? Some of the different ways of thinking, learning, interacting, and perceiving the world have been given labels, such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, Tourette syndrome. The umbrella term for these and others is neurodiverse or neurodivergent. The rainbow infinity symbol is often used as a logo for neurodivergent people. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. In the UK, it is estimated that 2.6 million people have ADHD, 708,000 children, 1.9 million adults. ADHD affects a person's ability to focus. It can cause inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsiveness. People with ADHD can be some of the most creative members on a team, bringing energy and new approaches to their projects. Several studies have shown that adults with ADHD tend to be out-of-the-box thinkers and calm under pressure. Celebrities such as Ryan Gosling, Emma Watson, Channing Tatum, and Justin Timberlake have ADHD. Did you know that by age 12, children with ADHD are likely to hear 20,000 additional negative comments than their peers without ADHD? This could have a huge impact on feeling rejection-sensitive dysphoria, RSD, regulating their emotions, which can lead to meltdowns, outbursts, and self-esteem and confidence struggles. Autism. In the UK, 700,000 people have a diagnosis of autism. This means approximately 1 in 100 children. Autism affects how a person perceives the world and interacts and socialises with others, making it challenging for them to pick up social cues and interpret them. Autistic people may be sensitive to lights, noise, touch, and smells, which can sometimes cause them distress. Autistic people may be highly logical and can be good at absorbing and remembering facts, attention to detail, and recognizing patterns. Did you know that climate change activist Greta Thunberg is autistic and has ADHD? And did you know that the creator of Pokemon is autistic? If you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. Dyslexia. About 10% of the population in the UK are dyslexic. That is roughly 6.3 million people. Dyslexia is a language processing difficulty. They may cause reading, writing, and spelling challenges. It can cause challenges with processing information quickly, organisation, sequencing, spoken language, and motor skills. Dyslexic people can be very good at creative thinking, problem solving, and verbal communication. About 35% of entrepreneurs, business owners, are dyslexic. Did you know that Tom Holland, Bill Gates, Keira Knightley, Orlando Bloom, and Steven Spielberg are dyslexic? Space scientist Maggie Adarin-Pock says, "My dyslexic thinking means I don't just think outside the box, I think outside the planet." Developmental coordination disorder, DCD, dyspraxia. About 4 million people in the UK are dyspraxic. Dyspraxia affects your physical coordination and can be misperceived as clumsiness. Dyspraxia can affect your handwriting, ability to tie your shoes, and doing up buttons. It can also affect your gross motor skills, such as being able to catch and kick a ball, run, and ride a bicycle. Dyspraxia can also affect your ability to organise yourself. Dyspraxic people are creative, determined, and good at developing their own strategies to overcome difficulties. Daniel Radcliffe says, "Dyspraxia has never held me back. Some of the smartest people I know are people with learning disabilities. It's really upsetting when people laugh at me because I can't catch a ball and I struggle with sports." Dyscalculia. Around 3.3 million people in the UK have dyscalculia. Dyscalculia affects an individual's ability to acquire and use mathematical skills. For some, it affects how they see numbers. For others, it might make symbols difficult to read, or they may have trouble understanding finances, data, and using numbers in everyday life. People with dyscalculia often have strengths such as intuitive and strong strategic thinking, and are very creative and have a love of words. Did you know that historical figures Thomas Edison, Benjamin Franklin, and Hans Christian Andersen all had dyscalculia? Tourette syndrome, TS. About 300,000 children and adults in the UK have Tourette syndrome. Tourette syndrome causes sudden, uncontrolled, repetitive muscle movements and sounds called tics. Stressful situations can make the tics more frequent, longer, and more severe. People with Tourette's can be faster at assembling sounds into words, phonology, and are often high-achieving, creative, and empathetic, understanding and caring. Billie Eilish, one of the most successful singers and songwriters, has Tourette syndrome. Did you know that singer-songwriter Lewis Capaldi and Hollywood actor Seth Rogen have Tourette's? Masking. Masking is the act of suppressing or concealing neurodivergent traits to appear neurotypical. It is often commonly experienced by autistic and ADHD people. People mask for a variety of reasons, including to avoid prejudice, stigma, bullying, and discrimination, to meet social expectations and avoid social rejection, to hide discomfort in environments, for example, that are not autism friendly, lack of acceptance or accommodation of autistic characteristics, to cope at school and avoid negative attention or punishment, for example, for moving around or stimming. I mask all day and then I have a meltdown when I get home. It's exhausting. Here is a quote from a neurodiverse student. "I love my schoolwork to be the exact way I want it to be. I like to write out any extra information or notes as I can, otherwise I feel very anxious and unprepared for any upcoming tests. However, this means that I may take a while longer to write down the rest of the information that we were asked to. This puts me under a lot of pressure to get everything down in the time that most teachers give us to fill out a worksheet or copy notes down. In the past, a couple of teachers have written down most of the key notes on a whiteboard and then will go to the next slide on the digital board so nobody is waiting or doing nothing. I find this very helpful as I do not feel I am holding the rest of the class up and I am feeling comfortable with what I have been able to get done." How you can help us. Lots of us have secret struggles. Additional support shouldn't require a diagnosis, as an official diagnosis could take a long time. Recognise the strengths of the students, e.g. problem-solving skill, pattern recognition, and use this to motivate and encourage us. Work together to set achievable goals. Grades aren't a measure of our performance. Think about whether we benefit from group work and being praised in front of others. Make someone's day by being understanding and kind. Things that help us. We are all individuals. We enjoy some school subjects more than others and like to take part in different activities and hobbies that help us. These include dancing and singing, biology, writing, reading, art, watching TV. Playing sports helps my energy, clearing my mind and helps my confidence. Drama. Being hyper-focused when interested in something. Gaming. My imagination. Talking about interests, friends, sympathetic, being engrossed in a book and visualizing. Talking about my hobbies and doing the things I enjoy is a good stress reliever. Caring for others and drawing. Things to consider. Lots of us have secret struggles. Here are some ways you can continue to support us. Explain how and why the particular learning is relevant. Some of us will make the link once we know the relevance and understand the benefit. Don't require or expect eye contact from us. This can make us feel uncomfortable. Make sure the resources are available and that there is a budget allocated to help support our learning. We should not have to pay for things like coloured paper. Get our feedback about what's working and what's not working for us. Never forget that you have the power to make a positive difference to someone who may be having a difficult time. Here are some quotes from students. An aggressive tone stresses us out and makes us want to rush, meaning our quality of work is not as good. One box doesn't fit all. Autism. Most of us hate being touched or having our stuff touched. Ask for permission before you move our things. ADHD. I become stressed at myself for being distracted. I have to stop myself from over-explaining things that I'm passionate about. We may need a bit of extra time in an exam. Being in our own room might help, but it depends on the individual. Talk calmly to us. Everyone has their own individual needs. ADHD and autism often co-occur. It's known as AUDHD. It's like having two separate minds, each fighting for control, like having two mortal enemies put together. I can't do it, I'm not good enough. Hyperfocus is great until you need to do something else. One thing they have in common is both brains love talking. I pray that I will get hyper-focused. It can be a beautiful thing. What are your next steps to support neurodivergent students? Our top tips poster, co-produced with students at King Edward's High School, is available to download at www.thesource.me.uk/home/extra. And our top tips social media tiles are also available. This presentation was created by the SEND Network Student Voice, along with the Engagement Hub. Please visit www.neurodiversityweek.com for a variety of downloadable free resources for teachers and www.thesource.me.uk.